All right, so you're talking about...
Oh, Cal Topo, yeah. The cool thing about it does LiDAR, but it actually, you can set like steps and shaded elevation.
Yeah.
So you can have like, this is 600 feet, this is 601 feet. Mm-hmm. And for looking in the swamp to find those like little islands. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's really cool because like that, you can easily see, there's a 3-foot little island here, where it's not going to be swamp. It's going to be dry enough that a deer can sit on it, instead of just, up ankle deep in mud. Yeah. There's a couple spots that I got to go scout because then looking at them on like Onyx or even on Cal Topo with like the satellite photos, you can see the aerial photos. You can see that those spots look a little bit drier, and then you can see. One of the cool things about hunting swamps and stuff is you can see the deer trails inside of them, even from aerial. Yeah. I don't know how much you do that kind of stuff, but like you can see.
I have done a little bit.
Yeah, you can see trails in the swamp. She brought a flashlight.
Right.
Yeah.
That looks better.
You might have to come down.
You look like perfect. I should want to angle mine down.
Down, yeah. I was looking at that before.
I was like, why does it not look as good as yours?
This is the kind of stuff that make great intro.
All right.
Us just screwing around. Yeah.
Depends how much people want to listen to this stuff.
Yeah, it's just us BSing.
Yeah. All right. You are ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to the United Archery Podcast, episode number 3 with Nick Moroder.
3. Who's before me now?
Micah.
Yeah. Did you re-record yet?
No.
No. So this is 1.2 or something.
Yeah, this will come out after Micah's, I think. Well, I don't know. We'll see. It should be episode 3.
Yeah, excited to be back here. That was a lot of fun last time.
Oh, yeah. We did record an entire podcast with Nick. Unfortunately, we got some audio issues that we weren't able to save, so
that's okay.
Gonna give her another try and talk about some more fun stuff. So
yeah, it was a great conversation last time. I'm just excited to be back and talking.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So for people who haven't met you before, Nick, who's Nick? Who are you?
So I've I don't know. I'm 41 years old. 42 this year. I got a 10-year-old boy. We've always been we've always done a lot of outdoor stuff, and I've always done a lot of outdoor stuff since I was a kid. I kind of grew up with hunting in the Sheboygan Marsh. My grandpa had a place there, really deep into the marsh. It was up on telephone poles, and it'd flood all the way to the front door every spring. But we did a lot of duck hunting back there, a little bit of deer hunting, just gun hunting and stuff. But the big thing back there was duck hunting. That's what my grandpa loved to do. He had all the carvings all over his house, old decoys and stuff like that. Then we sold that place when I was probably 15 or 16 because my grandpa had passed away, and then didn't really have family land to hunt anymore, so just kind of hunted on my own with just public land, squirrel and small game and stuff like that. Took a long break from that, got back into hunting about 15 years ago probably. So it was a good 10-year gap in there. I wasn't really hunting much, but I've always done a lot of fishing and camping in the meantime. And my son and I have really, really got into fishing when he was little. And then as he got a little bit older, when he was 5, maybe 4, I started taking him squirrel hunting. And then when he was 5 and 6, started taking him a little bit of deer hunting here and there. And then when he was 7, I took him on his big first deer hunt, and he's been pretty hooked ever since. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool seeing him come in the shop, getting better, like practicing. Like I'm impressed with how good he is at his age, because he's like 10.
10.
Yeah,
10. Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
He's already taken a couple deer. He finished his hunter safety right in the beginning of summer, I think the week before school ended.
Did you do it in person or online?
In person. So
nice.
He did that up at the Ozaki County Fishing Game. It's where Buckskin Bowmen hang out. So a bunch of the people from Buckskin and from they had 20 kids and a couple adults there. They had like 20 students, and I bet they had 25 instructors. It was the coolest thing.
Wow.
There's like so many people engaged with the kids and stuff like that. It was 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, so 2 long days, like 8-hour days, and everyone was engaged the whole time. It was super fun.
Did you do some hands-on stuff with like guns and bows or anything?
Oh yeah. Cool. The second day was all the like field test day and the actual like written test. but not really much bow stuff. It was more gun stuff, but I sat through the first like hour when I dropped him off, and then I was like, you know what, he's good. I'm going to just go home and get some stuff done today. Like Dad doesn't need to be sitting in the back, like looking over your shoulder, because I could tell it was going really well. And one of the first things they did was they were showing probably some of the same videos they showed me when I was a kid. These things looked like they had been done in the late 70s, and it was like was
it a VHS that they plugged in?
It was ripped off of VHS. Like it was super low quality. But at one point they had like black and white like hand drawn images of like of deer and other game and stuff like that in certain situations, and like, hey, it's a shoot or don't shoot, you know. And one of them was a pretty big 8-pointer, like in pretty thick woods, and you could kind of make them out, but it was like it wouldn't have been a very safe shot because it was such a thick like brush situation, and it was like, hey, shoot or don't shoot. One of the kids pops his hands up right away, and they're like, yeah, would you shoot or not shoot? And they say, and this kid goes, I wouldn't shoot. And he goes, okay, why? He goes, it's not big enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that. But it was, anyway, it was awesome because there was a whole bunch of kids there, a couple parents that were taking it with their kids. And you could tell that they were all having a really good time. And it was really fun on the last day to see them like coming in from their field tests, like being super safe and handling their guns just the way that they should and stuff like that. And, they all went to the range and shot 22s for a while. And
cool.
It was awesome. It was a really cool experience for them.
That's really cool. You've been getting into archery, I would say, more in the weeds in the last, year or so since I met you.
Yeah. So Julian got a bow way before I did. I had a little fiberglass bow when I was a kid, and I was actually thinking about this like maybe a week ago that the first time I really like experienced any sort of hunting was chipmunks at my parents' house. And so they had built a house when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and it was kind of far back into the woods in Grafton, like a town of Grafton. And there's a big woods in back of us, and I still remember all of like the swamp cabbage and stuff like there, the skunk cabbage and stuff like that. I just remember that, and it's some of my like earliest memories are like being in the woods there. I don't really remember the house, but like I remember that, and I remember chasing a chipmunk around the yard and it going in the gutter, and then just sitting there like waiting for it to come out of the gutter with my little bow and arrow, So. I
did stuff similar to that. I would be shooting like gophers and chipmunks, stuff like that at my parents' house with
I never
Kmart bows and like that kind of stuff.
I never got one, but it was like that was like some of the things that I remember when I was a kid. And I can see my kid kind of do the same sort of thing. So like my parents have a chipmunk problem up north, and my dad's like, yeah, bring your bow, like go to town, Funny thing is my dad's kind of gotten rid of them other ways. So like they're not, last year, I think I killed 20 of them for him because they're chewing up the foundation of the house. And this year I didn't see a single one. So he's already gotten rid of them.
There you go.
Like, man, like Dad, you got to stop that.
Yeah, we need something to shoot.
Yeah, Julian's got to get back on this.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool seeing your progression the last year or so where you had a pretty midline bow, some basic accessories. You've been slowly getting more into the weeds on like learning about all the intricacies, all the features of every product and all that kind of stuff. And it's really been fun to like watch you learn more about stuff like that and like upgrade your setup and really experiment. It's kind of cool. We'll talk about like one thing and you'll try a couple different options, and you'll find one that works like way better for you, which is really fun to hear.
Yeah. I was kind of playing around with peeps this weekend, and that was a huge difference for me. But like so Julian got his bow when he was 6 years old, and we took him to kids league and stuff like that. And I didn't have a bow, and then the safety coordinator at I was head of EHS at the time, environmental health and safety, and then I had a consultant that would come in to help us with some of the policy stuff, and he had been a deer hunter for a long time, and he had a bow probably 10, 12 years old, and he's like, hey, I'm getting rid of this because I'm getting older. I'm just crossbow hunting now, and older Bowtech, carbon icon. So I think it was high end at the time.
Yeah, that would have been like no, that was like a mid-range one.
Was it?
They did it weird. They had like their aluminums were like the flagships, and the carbon icon was like their
Mid-range?
700, yeah, $700 bow, I think.
Okay,
or
whatever. I mean, it's
not a bad bow. It's a
no,
good bow.
it's a great
Yeah.
bow, and it was really it's really light.
Yeah.
Heather just got that, so I kind of passed that down to my girlfriend, and we came to the range and shot, and she was shooting better than me that day with that bow. I was like, dang it. But yeah, that was a great bow, and I really like enjoyed like learning on it, and kind of grateful that it wasn't like the best right away because it taught me a lot. One of the things, especially having upgraded to a new Mathews this year, is like it is so much more forgiving, especially with like hand torque and stuff like that. Like my old bow, if I didn't have my hands just right, like I'd be off paper at 20 yards. And now I can take the bow and I can twist it like I'm gonna derail the strings, and it still shoots fine.
That's awesome.
So, but if I hadn't learned that, with a bow that was punished me, I wouldn't have the form that I have now.
Yes.
Not that my form's great, but it did teach me a lot.
At least the consistency of knowing where to put your hand to the bow or how to anchor and having those consistencies.
Right, because that mattered so much more on an older bow.
Yep.
A bow that wasn't quite as forgiving as the stuff they're making nowadays.
Yeah. We've been talking a bunch about like arrows and components and like bow setups and all sorts of gizmos and gadgets. Is there anything out there, like, is there anything that you would tell yourself like a year or two ago before you learned all this extra stuff you've been learning that you wish you would have knew faster, or not really?
No.
Okay.
Because you can probably tell I like that process.
Yeah.
And I last night when I was at I actually shot a text to you and Bill because I was just shooting amazing last night, and I didn't even feel that good. Like my brakes weren't consistent, and I was really wobbly. It was hot out. It was a little bit windy, and I was just like, I wasn't feeling that good, but I was still shooting better than ever, and it's because I had changed my peep out.
Yeah.
I've got an eye injury, and like the peep. Having changed, I went, you know what? I might be better off with one of these Hamsky Peets instead of the standard plastic, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And because I get really bad glare in the eye that my injury's in, I have 7 stitches in the front of my eyeball. So it's like I can still see really well straightforward, but I have this like weird blurry glare spot. And when the outdoor range that I shoot at, it's just a municipal park and in the town in Village of Grafton, and they it's down in their lime kiln pit. And I can shoot 70, 80 yards there, and nobody's ever there. It's great. But the sun's always going down in front of me when I'm shooting, and I think that made it even worse. But changing to that Hamsky peep was just like night and day.
That's awesome.
And so like even though I wasn't feeling good, I was shooting better than I ever have. And I like shooting kind of far away because then I feel like, okay, then when I move back up to 30 yards, it's like, wow, this is no problem, Yeah.
I'm excited to try it. I haven't shot one of the. I use them for like all the target stuff.
Yeah.
But on a hunting bow, I haven't tried one yet, so I'm excited to do that.
Yeah. The difference for me is it made the peep itself really crisp. Like the ring that you're looking through, like it was like, okay, I'm looking through something, and then there's a black line around the outside. Whereas the other one was just kind of like, just mush and blur, and then there'd always be this glare that I'd see when I'd have the sun in my eyes and stuff like that. So that was a big thing.
Yeah. In target archery, it's pretty common, especially on like a 3D course or like an ASA course. You're generally going to shoot like 10 targets one way, and then you do what's called the switch, or you'll flip, and you'll flip the other way and shoot 10 targets that way. And if it's the sun's pretty low, or even if the sun's even high or whatever, if that light changes which side it's coming on, it can make you hit left and right more or less depending upon.
I even find that at
setups.
the indoor range. Like Bill says he can shoot the difference, from one side of the range to the other, and I'm finding that I do that too.
With the lights are coming off one way or the other.
Right. The light's not super consistent there. So, but anyway, but back to your original question, like the process and stuff like that is like, I was kind of bummed out after I got this because I'm like, man, I'm so dialed. I'm so ready for like the season to start right now.
Yeah.
Like I got nothing left to like screw with.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, now what do I do for the next how many more days is it?
Well, today is August 9th. This is coming out like August 26th. I'll tell you the exact. This is going to be released on August 26th. So as of this, when you're here and listen to this, we're probably, what is that, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
3 weeks, because
3 weeks
September 12th. Yeah, 3 weeks.
September 12th. Yeah. So that's, I got nothing to do for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like my thing is always like trying to optimize everything and tweak everything. And it's like I'm just making these tiny little improvements, and like they're not even always improvements. Sometimes I do something and it's like, oh, that was wrong, you know? And it really helps because I like learning stuff. I've refletched my arrows a dozen times because I'm trying to figure out where I have a lot of face contact with my string, and it's like, well, if I don't have the vein and correctly oriented with the spine, then I'm touching the vein in the wrong spot and stuff like that. So I have to be really consistent with some things, and it's like, oh, I'll try this, didn't work, okay, we'll try it again. And now it's like, then I get really, really confident in my setup because I know what didn't work. And I'm like this with everything. This is just how I live my life. I like making mistakes. I like the process more than I like completing something. I usually make everything 5 times, and that's kind of the way of like my
I'm the same way. Like I have to do even this podcast, all technical difficulties and everything. I gotta just go ahead and do it, and then just fix it along the way and figure it out.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. So
one thing we should get you into is starting to score. Give you a target face, start scoring, and keep track of your score and see what you can do to get better or worse or whatever. It's a fun way to track it then.
Yeah, it would be fun to have like an objective measure. For me, it's like, it is a little subjective right now, but I know days I'm shooting well. I know days when I'm shooting bad. I know, like, I can tell right away when, like, things that I've done to the gear make a difference. And that's like I don't know, it's fun to try new things, and just I'm like, wow, I did this and it made a difference, And sometimes it's just things like, okay, turning off this muscle back here as I'm at full draw, it makes a huge difference in the way that I shoot. So.
For those listening, Nick's pointing at his right shoulder.
Yeah.
And then I think we need more of that. Honestly, working with the hundreds of people that I work with on a shop on a day-to-day basis, I think there's not enough guys that tinker with stuff. I always encourage people to tinker with stuff, try stuff, experiment, have fun with it. I think it brings a lot of fun to archery and gets more of that fire burning to try different stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I first came into the bow shop, I didn't know anything about bows. Like I was like, okay, I'm getting Julian a bow for Christmas, and he's 6 years old, and like I didn't know what to buy, didn't know what was good, but Wicked was the first shop I walked into, and I for a long time I ran a bicycle shop, and like I could tell the attitude Bill had about things was the same way that I ran my bike shop. Fit was really important.
Bill's unique, I would say, on the personality-wise, where he's very confident, he's very knowledgeable, and he knows he doesn't want to help do something. He won't do something wrong, even if the customer wants that.
Right.
So I think that's very important on making sure things are set up properly, make sure people are set up for success.
Yeah, Bill's not super great about explaining it all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like we told him before we got here we were going to talk a little bit of shit, but he's not great at explaining why sometimes.
Yeah.
Even sometimes I'll go in there and they'll be like, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, why? Like, tell me.
Yeah, he's not good at explaining. I'll even ask stuff about like building strings or doing a certain setup on a bow or whatever, and he'll be like, I don't want to explain it, or I don't whatever. Like he's not great with the explaining part.
No, but you can tell right away he knows what he's doing, and it comes from years of experience. And I was like, okay, I found a home, because I can't really think of many other examples in my life where I've been like, I don't really want to know. I'll let somebody else do it. I mean, if I gotta do something on my car, change the rear seal and pull out my transmission transfer case, like go through all that stuff, I'll just do it. Like I'm never take stuff to a shop. Everything that my son makes fun of me is just like, I can do it better every time. And it's like, man, you spent 10 hours doing a 5-minute job because you tried to do it from scratch. It's like, yep, that's what I do. Because that's the thing that keeps me sane, is like I like learning things, and I like experiencing, the point A to point B and how to get there. Yeah.
That's one of the tricky things I think with archery people underestimate is when generally I tell most people the general rule of thumb is with archery, you change one thing, you change everything. Like if you change something on your bow, it's not going to change just that one thing. Like you change your peep height, okay, that'll change, your sight tape, that'll change where you're going to hit. That's going to change your anchor point, whatever. Like change anything, you're going to change everything. So it's kind of hard to understand that nuance between what's going to happen when you do stuff to the bow and everything.
Yeah, and it's fun, and I like that aspect of it. But when I've got into it, I didn't have enough knowledge to even start experimenting.
Yes.
So it was like really good to find a place that was just like, okay, I know I'm going to be set up at least close the first time. I can start learning this stuff afterwards, but like, just get me shooting, And that felt really good.
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody who wants to maybe starts tinkering with stuff, I think you'd suggest them tinker with first. I always say fletch and arrows, but unless you had a different idea.
Yeah, fletching arrows was fun.
Yeah.
Like it was just fun, and like for me, it was very much like okay, like this works, like and every arrow I've fletched works fine. It's just like for me, because of the face contact thing, it was like a big thing about like comfort and like anchor point. Like if I have the vein sticking too far into my lip, then I know like
it's not right.
It's not right. I got to redo this,
Yeah, it's cheap. Veins are cheap. It's easy. It's fun to play around with. You can test Group A versus Group B on different configurations and see what works best for you.
Yeah, and honestly, like if I had done that even a year prior to that, though, I probably wouldn't have known the difference because I wasn't shooting that well.
Yeah.
What was the first year of shooting was like, okay, what if I hold it like this? What if I hold the bow like this? What if I drop my chin a little bit? What if I, bring my chin up a little bit? What if I push it a little bit more with my nose? And it was more about like my form and experimenting with form. And then it became, okay, form's pretty good. Like, let me start playing with this other stuff because now I'm consistent enough to know the difference in some of the gear.
Yeah, I think form isn't as fun. People study. There's a lot of guys that come in they want to tinker, which is great. Like I want people to be tinkering, but you should also, like I said, you should be adjusting your form.
Yeah, and for me, the first year was just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep the stuff that I have. I didn't change a thing on my bow. I didn't change a thing about my arrows. Like it was just like I'm learning that first because that was the thing that like I knew was going to be the foundation for everything else.
Yeah.
And there's an amount of knowledge out there too. Like the other thing I was thinking about on my drive here was like the amount of information that's out there. When I was a kid, like you wanted an outdoor show, you'd like, Sunday morning, Outdoor Wisconsin, that was the only thing that we see on public television, so I'd sit around all week waiting for the Outdoor Wisconsin to come out. And now it's like, man, I can go on YouTube and look at all these things and get everyone's opinion. And like, boy, there's almost too much information out there.
Oh yeah, I think there is. And I think there's a lot of good information out there. I think there's some misleading information. Because I think with a lot of things with archery, it's all subjective. What arrow is best for us might not be best for someone who's 6'5", who has a long draw line. There's different perspectives, different things I recommend for different people based on what they're using it for.
Yeah, I mean, look at the two arrows that we settled on this year. I mean, they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
Like you're shooting a 300 spine and a HLR. I'm shooting a 400 spine and a XV. And I'm running.
They're not that crazy. They're both. Mine's a lighter arrow. Yours is a very light arrow.
Very light arrow, and yours is like, I mean, but we're shooting the same draw length and almost the same weight, and we're running 2 spines apart.
Yeah.
To me, that's a, like, you look at a spine chart, and I'm right on one edge, and you're on the other side of it, and they're both working out fine for us.
Oh, yeah. And I haven't noticed too much, at least on the target side of things, with spine being a huge factor, at least on a hunting bow, for spine being a very important factor. I look at other things like overall arrow weight, diameter, componentry, straightness, stuff like that, where I don't know. I've heard of some guys that will shoot real weak spines and they'll group better for them, which is like perfect. Like that, you should do that. And I haven't noticed anything yet, but yeah.
Well, I mean, part of it is we're both short draw length.
Oh yeah,
so
I don't know.
Everything's stiff.
Everything's like we cut them down so short.
Yeah, everything's stiff when they're 25 inches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's, that stuff's fun to play around with. And I think last time we talked a little bit about the calculator I made. This was like something that like I started getting into the arrow selection, and it was like, boy, what about this? What about that? These are my goals. And like,
for anybody listening or watching, pause this video, go to wickedarcherywi.com, go to tools, and then click on Arrow Ballistic Calculator. Nick made it Arrow Ballistic Calculator on there. The primary purpose is for A and B testing with different setups.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just basically virtually build 2 different arrows, select your shaft, select your length, select your spine, select your insert weight, your field point weight, which veins you want, which knock you want, and you can compare one versus the other and start seeing how that affects trajectory, how it affects FOC, where it moves your pins around on your sight, which can make a big difference, And like one of my goals was just to get it really flat shooting because like I'm not good about ranging targets. I'm pretty good at estimating. But
and
like,
animals move too. Like
animals move,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot. And like where I'm typically hunting is like, okay, I got 3 seconds. I mean, I watch some of these hunting videos, and they they'll call it a deer, and it'll stand there for 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? This never happened to me in my
Yeah.
life, like deer are constantly on the move for me, and so it's like, man, I need a little bit more range forgiveness. And so like that's when I started looking at like, okay, I got a 3-pin sight, can I get an arrow like and adjust my pins to different yardages that I know, like, okay, first pin I got it at 25, that takes me from 15 to 30, and it's within 2.5 inches. And then, the next pin, which might be at 35, and so I was kind of tweaking my arrow for my sight in order to like give myself a lot of range forgiveness, as well as like not have any gaps between the pins that I have to like kind of, guess at.
Yep. Because I used to be shooting my last setup I had a 3-pin slider, and I had a 20, 30, 40, and I even tested it. Like I was shooting like 275, that's a good speed. It was fine. But at between 20 and 30, I was 7 inches lower. Like that's a lot. Where I started practicing pin gapping, stuff like that, and that's shooting a flatter setup like that is definitely more preferable, especially for whitetail.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was after, because like where I hunt to and stuff, like there's not, first of all, deer are on the move. It's typically more open fields. It's they're traveling across the field. They're not like sitting down and eating or anything. And it's like, man, there's just not a lot of time. And again, not super great about ranging stuff. Like I usually try to pick out some landmarks and know the ranges before I, see a deer. Sometimes that doesn't always work out, but like that's how I hunt. And so I trying to kind of work around the way I personally hunt too.
Yeah.
Because that's not, I mean, everybody's going to be different too. None of this is advice. It's just what works for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. You want to talk about Julian's bow? Julian's got a new bow?
Yeah, Julian just picked up a bow. This thing's really sweet.
So you did a bunch of research to find the best bow you could find specific to your son.
For my kid, yeah.
Because
Again,
he's 20, what is he, 21.5-inch draw length right now?
21.5-inch draw length.
What can you for draw weight?
Very short. He's right around 30 pounds. He can go up to 35 pretty comfortably, so we'll crank it up as kind of high as he can get away with before the season starts.
Yeah.
This is an older Mathews Prima, and I told Bill maybe 4 months ago that, hey, if you get a lefty Prima in the shop, a used one, because they haven't made this for 5 or 6 years, like, call me immediately. And maybe a month ago, I walked in and was hanging up there.
Yeah.
Like, Bill, come on, man.
Yeah, you're telling me that. 'Cause I took it on trade. A guy got a new upgraded. So
yeah, and I'm stoked about this one because that and that's a funny word, because Mathews also made the Stoke, which was specifically a kid's bow like a flagship kid's bow, right around the same time. The Stoke would go a little bit shorter on draw length. But Julian doesn't need any shorter. Like, this is the smallest mod for this bow, and it's right at 21.5. I
think it's an M mod. I didn't even know they went that low in the alphabet. Yeah, an M mod.
Yeah, and so none of the short draw stuff that they make nowadays would have worked for him. But then,
at least for the quality and size and specs you're looking for.
Right, like a flagship bow.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and I wasn't necessarily looking for a flagship bow, but the goal was to give Julian more speed out of his bow, because he shoots really well, but like he wasn't, like, we were doing some testing during turkey season and stuff like that, and shooting at defrosted turkeys in the yard and stuff like that, and then making them for dinner. But like his arrows were slow, and like, so we got lighter arrows and stuff like that, and we were trying to like optimize for some speed out of there, and so we could get some good penetration on a turkey, and was like comfortable with a turkey, not your typical turkey broadhead, like a really small cut on contact, like, I mean, this is what we ended up with during turkey season.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he was going to shoot during turkey season, and so then when we shot the same arrow through this thing, we gained 70% more energy with the same draw length and poundage.
That's
so it was
impressive.
like, and that's what I was looking for, is just something to be way, way more efficient, because this year he wants to shoot a deer, and I just wanted to make sure that
the best setup possible for a low draw weight, short draw length.
Really short. Yeah, really short. We're really he's very limited, but he's, and when I look at this another way, because some people might think, oh man, that doesn't sound very ethical, but like this is the same kind of energy that the trad guys are shooting.
It might even be more, because I think
it's probably a little more.
Because I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 30 pounds for your legal limit in Wisconsin.
Legal limit is 30,
and that's recurves, I believe, as well too.
Right, it is 30 across the board.
Yeah,
and so a 30-pound recurve is not a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Those guys are typically shooting heavier arrows, moving pretty slow. But I'm like trying. What we did was, again, this is me tweaking and testing things. Is like go into the basement and like I set up a target and a chronograph, that I have from my hunting and reloading days, and just start shooting different arrow weights through his old bow. And it was like, I really can't get more energy than like a lighter arrow.
Yep.
His old bow was kind of optimized for a lighter arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to play around with this one and see where we get the most energy out of it, because when it comes down to penetration and stuff, momentum is kind of everything when we get into a lighter draw weights like this. But it's going to be fun to start playing around with. He's going to come to the shop tomorrow to get the peep height set and stuff like that, but he's absolutely stoked about it. Yeah, it's an older woman's bow, but one of the things that is also kind of cool for me is like this would fit me, like with the right mod on it. Like I could shoot this. This goes to 26.5 or 27.
Yep.
So like he can grow with this a long time, and it's about the same price as like a mid-range bow when you get into the used stuff. So it's like, man, we get a really good bow for not a ton of money, and it's a big upgrade, and he's going to keep it for a long time.
Yeah.
The only downside is I got to buy mods he's growing.
When he grows. Yeah.
He's growing fast.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be buying mods every 2 months. It's fine. You know? Because he's taking it really seriously, and he's got the goal of getting a deer. He's already gotten one with a rifle. He's gotten one with a crossbow. This year it's going to be a bow. So
that's exciting. Yeah. That's going to be awesome when he gets one on the ground.
Yeah.
That's cool. You want to talk about the grip you made for us?
Yeah, so this is one of the grips. We put it on Julian's bow right away. I think this one's got some glue behind it.
Or you can just leave it on too.
Nah, it's coming off. You can cut this out.
What'd you glue it with?
I didn't glue it. This is just that sticky tape that they have.
The sticky tape that they have on there. Yeah.
They kind of grip on. So when I started shooting the new bows at the shop, I was like, boy, love this bow. Do not like the grip. Mm-hmm. That was like my first. That was my initial impression on the Mathews. Was like I just did not like the way the grip felt in my hand. Mathews has done a lot of work to kind of like make them fit a lot of different people's hands and stuff like that.
I think it's very comfortable. I think at least for my hand, I feel like it's a very comfortable grip.
Yes.
The thing I don't like about that, and that we can get into that too, but the big thing on this one, at least Bill you and Bill worked together to make this guy a lot of changes with it. Yeah.
So the Mathews grip was very comfortable, but it was hard to get a consistent grip on it. It was kind of and I could tell right away that it was going to be a problem for me, because it just kind of like plopped into my hand, and it was like, man, no matter where I move my hand, it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that I could tell was going to be a problem, because especially with my old bow, knowing how important it was to have that consistency, it was like, And then Bill started showing me, I really like this bow. I don't like this bow. And I'm like, boy, there's something we can do here. And I know there's a cottage industry around 3D printing grips. But Bill and I worked together to kind of come up with this one for the Mathews, and it's kind of unique in the way that it's shaped. One of the things that we really focused on was getting the portion that fits your hand. I'll try to say this so your audio listeners can understand what I'm saying. But like the back of the grip that actually fits your hand, it's flat. It's straight, and it's very, very narrow, like left and right. It feels like you're almost shooting off the riser. A lot of people like to shoot off the riser on Mathews. This one feels like you're shooting off the riser, because shooting off the riser feels great. But the problem I was having was I was kept dipping down. Like I couldn't get enough pressure behind the heel of my hand to like.
The angle's too flat, is what you're saying.
Right, it's too straight up and down. So we added a few degrees there, so this one feels a lot like as if you're shooting off the riser, but it's a steeper angle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we were after. The other thing that we spent a lot of time on is this kind of side shelf here.
Where your pointer finger goes.
Right.
Yep.
And since this is Julian's, it's a lefty, but a typical Mathews grip doesn't really have anything there, so your hand just kind of falls off the side. We made it so, gosh, I wish I knew anatomy better, but like right behind your pointer finger, there's kind of
like that first, like the knuckle or the pivot point of your finger, the base of your finger.
Yeah, right at the base of your hand, base of your finger. You can get that into there and kind of torque the bow back a little bit. So especially if you're running a back bar or something like that, you get a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah, you don't feel like your fingers are coming off the shelf and coming up. You get more support there, and there's a lot more room for it too. I feel like it's a lot higher than other grips out there.
Yeah, because the problem is if you're not engaging that, the bow is left, right, back and forth. It's hard to keep your bubble level. This gives you a little bit of pressure there, so you can just kind of activate some muscles and keep things really consistent.
Yeah, like you were saying, like I put one on my bow for this year, and the first time I put it on there, it felt very weird. I'm like, oh, this is weird, but immediately I can tell if my hand's in the same spot or not.
Right.
It'll give you that flat back is kind of what that gives you that feeling, and it's not. It's about is it about the same width as a factory grip, but just more square? Or is it?
You can't really go narrower than this with the grip itself.
Yep.
The trick that we employed was the back that sits against your hand tapers into your hand.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a taper, and this will be best if you're watching on video, but there's a taper here. So then we could get the back to feel quite a bit narrower. The other thing that was really important on this was to keep the web of your hand as close into the kind of the rest area of the grip as possible, so we could get your hand way up into the bow. Like I said, it's
getting it closer to the arrow kind of thing.
Right.
Yep.
And like I said, it's actually really hard to print there because it is. I think it's less than 1 millimeter.
Oh wow.
Thick there.
Wow,
like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, pinch it. There's almost nothing there.
Oh wow, yeah. Very thin. So getting as close as you can with everything, really.
Even there's another place that it gets really, really thin too, is actually through here. That gets so thin. I print with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, and it is less than 0.8.
Okay.
So I actually have to thin out the print there and set the printer settings, because I think it's about 0.6 millimeters thick even in that area.
Wow.
So there's some really, really thin areas. There's some tricks I had to employ to get it the way we liked it. And Bill and I went back and forth on this, probably 20 iterations before we found something that we really, really liked. I've got one on my bow too. I'm actually still shooting one of the prototypes. This has exactly the same shape without some of the
additional features,
decorations.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one has a kind of a nice pattern on the sides to give you a little bit of grip and stuff like that. This is one of the originals. I just like it smooth, so I'm still shooting this.
And they're available in black. We got the tan, and then we have like a gray as well too, I think, right now. Cool.
Black, tan, and gray.
And we got righty and lefty finally too, and that's Mathews. What is it, 2019 and newer?
Probably.
Whatever the newer Mathews are.
Yeah, whatever the newer Mathews style is. It's and it's pretty consistent. One of the things that we did run into a little bit of trouble on, and I'm just tweaking some of the prints right now, is that Mathews seems to be a little bit inconsistent into how much area there is for the grip. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you got to take a little bit of sandpaper and just sand down the bottom of this just a little bit on certain bows.
That maybe is like the finish, like camo dipping versus like a certain color powder coating or however they do that stuff.
It seems to be like worse on the longer risers. So if you got like a 34 or something like that, it doesn't seem to fit as well as like the smaller risers.
Oh, sure. Might have seen a little bit of filing on the bigger ones.
Yeah, so there's less room on the bigger ones. I mean, they're not all made exactly the same. Is kind of what it comes down to. But I'm
pumped for Julian to have this new bow.
Yeah, he's gonna be so excited.
That's awesome.
I'm
excited.
So excited.
Yeah, I'll be in the shop tomorrow, so it'll be cool.
Yeah, he's specific. I said, "Do you want to set it up with Bill or do you want to set it up with Wyatt?" And he goes, "I want to set it up with Wyatt." So you're very kid friendly.
Oh, good. That's good. So with Julian, he's been in archery for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do to keep it more like fun for him, or it's just fun for him no matter what?
It's not fun no matter what.
Okay.
There are days, and you've been around the shop where Julian has been frustrated and upset. I don't want to do this anymore. And like we had a discussion a few weeks ago where he melted down. He's like, I don't ever want to shoot archery again. I'm like, it's not. and I feel that way about certain things that I love to do too,
Mhm.
you know, like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, like we were out camping and I punched a hole in the bottom of my boat and sunk my boat in the middle of the lake, and like, you know, had to drive it back to the boat launch, you know, up to my waist in water. You know, it was like, I'm like, man, I'm never doing this again. I'm getting rid of my boat. You know, I went to Walmart, you know, put some epoxy in there, got through the weekend, and I think I was up till like 3 a.m. that night, just like taking care of stuff. But you know, you give it some time and you're back to normal. You know, with him, the biggest thing to kind of like get him excited again is to either get some friends going again, or just do something new. You know, we've been to a few 3D shoots and stuff like that. That's super fun for him. Balloons are the greatest thing in the world. If I put out balloons, he's suddenly back into, you know, shooting archery again. Recently got him a recurve, and he's a crack shot with a recurve. I can't believe how good he is with a recurve. He's gonna he's gonna take a deer with the compound, and then I think as soon as he can pull 30 pounds with a recurve, he's gonna be doing that.
That's awesome.
That's
on my bucket list to shoot a deer with a recurve. I haven't done it yet, but
me too.
I've had plenty of situations where I could have, like, very easily.
Yeah.
So
I got a recurve too, and I'm like, I can't shoot nearly as well as Julian can. For some reason, he just picked up that thing and took to it.
Nice. For me, especially the trad guys, I'm sure that those guys can tell me different, but at least for me, I need to shoot a lot. Like, I need to shoot a lot. I need to shoot every day, shoot consistently, and like try to build that consistency behind it. If I just grab it and pick it up, like, there's no way I could ethically kill something like that.
Julian took a archery class with some kids this summer, and they had recurves there.
Oh, cool.
And like, he brought his compound the first day, and he broke an arrow because they were shooting at like 7 yards, you know. And he was stacking them like in a quarter, and then he's like, next time I'm not gonna bring my bow. You know,
I'll use the recurves.
Yeah.
Where was the class?
It was done at Limekiln Park. It was done through a lot of small communities have like an archery class during the summer. It's usually the same place you sign up for like swim lessons and stuff like that through the rec department. Yep. The guy who ran it was the same guy who, I can't remember his name right now, but he runs the chapter of Ducks Unlimited around here. Yeah. So somebody who's into the conservation scene and stuff like that, and he was there just teaching the kids. It was just a lot of fun. And so Julian went to that a few times. We bought him a used lefty 20-pound recurve. It's an old PSE.
How long is it? What size? It's like a smaller one.
Yeah, it's a smaller one. I can shoot it though. It's like not super small. And it's, you know, it's fiberglass limbs. It's a takedown. It's well made. Looks like it would have been $100 or a couple $100 when it was originally sold. But he just loves the thing. I think it's got like a 52 AMO or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Most of like you and me would probably shoot a 58 or 60 or something like that.
Yeah, so I got no idea how that stuff works.
Yeah.
And it's with the kids camp thing, I try to find as many as I can of those and get them on the website. I know there's like 1 or 2 on there right now for like archery camps / kids things. So yeah, you can check out the events page. They have some stuff on there for kids in Wisconsin too.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the rec department stuff is it's like unbelievably cheap. It's like, you know, he went for 6 weeks or something like that, like twice a week.
Oh, it was like a longer thing.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
It was like an hour each time, and it was just, you know, go have fun, learn some safety stuff, and like
Julian's be with kids and
just
shoot
be
together.
With kids, and shoot together, because like he already knows all the stuff they're teaching, but he still has a blast when he's shooting with other kids, you know. Absolutely. So that's something we got to do. Picked up a bow fishing arrow, and like, you know, there's. Right after he got that, he was like, "Dad, let's go." And so he stood in the Milwaukee River for 2.5 hours looking at suckers, you know, it's like waiting for him to get closer. So it's that kind of stuff is fun. Like there's so many different types of archery, and like just trying to keep it fun. You know, he gets a little frustrated when we score a lot. So like kids leagues got kind of frustrating for him because it was like he was comparing last week to this week and target to target and shot to shot, and it was like, oh boy. And he was just kind of getting upset about that. He's not super competitive when it comes to scoring anything. He's not a ball sports kid or anything like that. But the thing that helped him in the league stuff was to do the father-son league. Because then it was like, hey, we're a team, you know. He shoots bad. I shoot good.
Yep.
We scored
Evens
together,
out,
and
yeah.
he gets excited because he's like, "Oh, you shot really good that time, and that helped me." And then I'll have a really bad target, and he'll have a really good target, and it's like it was more fun, you know.
That league that we have at Wicked, that youth adult league, is really. I don't think I've seen anything like that. I'm sure there's other things out there like that, but having one youth and one adult make a team is like awesome. Like, it's tons of parents to shoot with their kids together instead of the kid the parent watching the kid. You shoot together as a team. So great league that's over at Wicked.
It's a lot. That was a lot of fun, and that's the only league I've ever shot. I'm kind of not into stuff like that either, you know.
I usually don't do too many leagues, more just like the fun shoots and/or tournaments depending upon time, but. The fun shoots have been growing. That's cool to see a lot of like the challenge style ones, longer shots, harder, better angles, stuff like that.
Let's talk about hunting for this year.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you? I know you got a couple ideas planned for like going out to like a little bit west of here and stuff like that.
I'm just gonna try to. What I'm gonna try to do is just get away from people. I'm gonna try to get away from people. At least I'll probably just do some like 2-3 days at a time and try to just go hunt some public. And I didn't get any chance to get out scouting this year, but I'm just gonna go have fun out there. I got plenty of spots around here to try some stuff and hunt when I can, but the hard thing will be just getting time to hunt. I think I'll do pretty good this year, and then maybe better next year. So we're trying to hire at the shop, so we're short staffed. We need help at the shop. If you're interested in working at a bow shop, stop in at Wicked Archery. we need to hire some people. So.
And you're after some does this year too, right?
After some does for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna start whacking some does.
Yeah.
I usually wait till later in the year, and I'm not doing that this year. I'm just gonna start whacking them.
Oh no, me either. This year, Julian and I bought our deer tags last month, and like between the two of us, we were issued 24 tags.
Holy smokes!
By buying 4.
What counties were they in?
Mostly Ozaki, Washington. Like that's where that's where we do the majority of our hunting.
So I know
that's where I pick up that like they give you free doe tags, and that's where I picked up most of them.
Yeah, because I would say I know a lot of the counties with higher doe populations will give you more doe tags.
Oh yeah.
Like I think like Richland Center, or not Richland County, and like Waukesha County, Milwaukee County, they'll give you like 3 or whatever.
I think I got 4.
Okay, 4. Yeah, like they really need some doe shot. And I'm gonna try to shoot them in like that Waukesha County area.
Yeah, I think I got 4 on my bow tag, 4 on my gun tag, plus I got the $2, so it's 10 for me. Is that right? That's probably right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then Julian got the 4 gun, 4 bow, which aren't actually the antler list isn't specific to the season. So like
for Wisconsin, they're gonna be
like so it's just an antlerless tag. So like he's got 8 antlerless tags there. Then he's got his 2 buck tags, and then they give kids. This is really cool. In Wisconsin, if you're under a certain age, I think it's 17, as a youth hunter, you get to shoot a doe anywhere in the state.
That's awesome.
So like like when we go up north to like the Eagle River area where we've done some hunting and stuff like that, it's really hard to get a doe tag up there. Mm-hmm. Like the does, there's just not a lot of does, and so DNR doesn't hand out many tags. So even in counties, it's not counties anymore, but DMUs, deer management units, where you can't get a doe tag, kids can still take a doe.
Oh, cool.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Gives them an opportunity if they get something, like let them shoot the doe.
Just if something walks out, you can shoot it.
Yeah.
And like
because those who don't know, our doe tags in Wisconsin are county specific.
Not county.
Not they're
No.
DMUs?
DMU.
Okay,
yeah.
that was
Some
the change.
DMUs are counties.
Okay.
But then there's a lot now that aren't.
Oh,
counties.
they're maybe like a section of a county and or more couple county,
right.
Whatever. Okay.
Like it's especially common in the northern units because of the variation up there, you know, and so like the DMU we're in Violus County is like there's 3 or 4 DMUs that move into that county, and they'll cross county lines, and it's by road, and
maybe that's different then, because I'm just used to the ones down here that are like all just the counties.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just different parts of the state.
Different parts of the state. Yeah, they moved back to the DMU structure after going to a county structure.
Yeah, that makes more sense for the DMU if you have a very similar population across the size of a
right
state.
Across a county or something like that. And down in the southern and southeastern part of Wisconsin, and even into the central part of Wisconsin, like there's a lot of farmland. Mm-hmm. So it's essentially unlimited food for these deer, and we're the only predator. Yeah,
and one of the things too is our doe tags are, at least they have been, unless it's changed, they're all public and private specific. So you pick your DMU, and also, which is basically a county, and then also your private or public.
Right.
Which I don't know. It makes it a little bit more complicated. But if I hunt public, I'll hunt a bunch of different counties, and I'll have a variety of doe tags. I'll have to like make a cheat sheet on my phone. I think we talked about doing the same thing about all the tags that you have, and see when coming in you can check and see what if you have a tag for the area. And
I did something similar to that. I actually took our licenses and plugged them into Claude, like, which is kind of like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like I basically printed our licenses off, Julian and I's, into into like PDFs off the DNR's website, and then gave those both to Claude, and I said, hey, make me a cheat sheet of like where I can take a deer, when, and what unit and everything else. So like now I have like a 1-page sheet that tells me where I can shoot a deer and where I can't.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Because it does get really confusing.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's laws regarding hunting are hard to navigate sometimes.
Yeah. I think there's a way to make them simpler. I don't know what'll change or if or when, but we'll see.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is I cut out all my tags, put them all in one Ziploc bag, and I put them in the back of my bino harness.
Yeah.
Because then I can just pull them out, like sort through them quick or whatever, or look at my phone too. So.
Yeah, I just wanted like a 1-page cheat sheets because like I got 2 people to take care of now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to make sure you and Julian are both good to go.
And we're kind of opportunity hunters too when we're deer hunting. So like I'm always shooting at squirrels. I love shooting squirrels.
That's awesome.
I
keeps it fun too.
Yeah, I was also thinking about this, like fox squirrels. If there's fox squirrels around, that's where I'm deer hunting.
Okay.
Like fox squirrels. I love squirrel hunting, and like I started squirrel hunting with a shotgun. Then I went to a 22, and then I went to a open sight handgun 22. And I was like, and like I just kept making it harder on myself, and like the harvest I remember most, like of any harvest I've ever taken, is a gray squirrel that was running Mach speed across a cornfield. And I was leaving to get in my truck and like go to work that day because I had hunted in the morning, and it's just squirrel hunting in a local woods, probably 5-6 miles from my house. And I was like, the squirrel was just booking it across the field. And I had my handgun in its holster. I drew my handgun and took 2 shots at this thing, and it was probably 35 yards away, and it just rolled. And it was just like this moment where I just was like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even believe it. It was like one of the coolest things that I never could do that again, because it was just like, man, what
are the odds of that?
What are the odds?
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. And then when I had taken 2 shots, and both of them
hit,
both dead square, like center
Nice.
of the squirrel. So I was like, wow,
That's
this
cool.
is cool. That's
awesome.
It was just like one of those things. And so like it's more about like experience and stuff like that. But this fall we also got turkey tags in a couple areas, so we can harvest a turkey if one of them comes by, and I've been seeing them on my deer trail cams and stuff like that. So always the opportunity every now and then to get to like looking at coyotes and stuff.
Yeah. That's one thing I want to do as well too, is get into other. I used to do a lot of like duck hunting, goose hunting, and stuff like that. I want to get more into like small game hunting and fishing, stuff like that. But really, just with time, I'm like just focus on bow hunting. But
Yep.
if I shoot a big buck, maybe I'll start dabbling some other stuff. Shoot one early, and then have some time to do some more
I
fun
always
stuff.
bring some small game heads with me. Like last year, I took home a few birds too, because one of the public areas I hunt a lot around here has a game farm nearby, and there's a lot of scratch birds.
Oh yeah, I need to do that, 'cause I see them all the time.
That's awesome. Last year we were hunted out of the ground blind, and there's some deer in front of us, and we were kind of waiting for them to get close enough and stuff like that. They were probably out 80 yards, and we're waiting for them to get closer and closer, and then all of a sudden this bird runs right in front of I mean, it was probably 2 feet from the front of our ground blind. It was like it was so far down you had to put your head forward and look over like look through the window to see the thing. And my son goes, "Dad, a grouse!" And I'm like, "That's a pheasant." He's used to hunting grouse up north. So I'm like, "That's a pheasant."
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's kind of the stuff we like to do.
Nice. So you've also been known for making a lot of your own stuff.
Yeah.
You make a lot of your own gear. I think some of the most impressive stuff that you've made are a lot of like your piece of clothing, backpacks, and like stuff like that. I'm pretty impressed with the quality.
So like my mom was a quilter, and again, like I have this brain that doesn't turn off. I'm always trying to like make stuff, make it better. I'll buy something off the shelf and go, boy, I don't really like this, and like I could have done this a little bit different, and it's not maybe marketable, but
Yeah, because you're building them one off.
I'm
by
building it
hand.
for me.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the way I look at things is like it. And it was the same way when I worked on bikes, you know, like bicycles, you think of it like a bicycle wheel, you know, people buy bicycle wheels. I buy spokes, I buy nipples, I buy rims, I buy rim tape. I get into that kind of thing when I was building bikes, you know, and people would come to me so we could build their dream bike with the right hub, the right bearing, the right this, the right that, you know. We're mixing and matching brands among the drivetrain because like we know a Ultegra crank is a little bit stiffer than the SRAM crank, and like we want this front derailleur because we know that it shifts a little bit better, and like that's the kind of stuff that I was known for at like the bicycle shop and like what I did for a long time. And so I kind of treat a lot of my stuff the same way. Several years ago, I started getting into like sewing myself. I'd gotten a sewing machine, didn't really use it for 3 or 4 years, but then I was like, it had a problem from the factory, and I like took it apart and finally found this like burr inside of it, and I was like, now it works great, you know. So I filed it down, now it works great, and so then I started making gear for our camping trips because Julian and I do a lot of camping, and so the first thing I made was like a quilt, like a camping quilt. It's kind of like a replacement for like a mummy bag. They kind of like snap in the back, and it's more like a big ultralight blanket, you know. And summer camping, I mean, if you've ever been in a sleeping bag in the middle of summer, it's awful, you know. So this is like a sleeping bag material, you know, packs up really small, but it's just like a big blanket, you know. You can snap the thing together and kind of turn it into a sleeping bag if you want to. That was like the first thing I made, and then I started making tents and backpacks and everything else, and it was like, boy, this is a lot of fun. Yeah. Especially because I get to make something specifically for me. I get to like, okay, these are the bottles I like. I want to make the side pockets fit my bottles, and I like.
Make it specific for every piece of gear that you
right.
already have.
Yeah, and like it's just stuff like that, and like a lot of stuff that you buy now, especially clothing and like backpacks and gear stuff. I mean, open up your hunting backpack or like an outdoor backpack. It seems like the more pockets and this and that they put on, the better. I mean, like, open up your hunting backpack, and maybe some of you are like this, but like, I open up a hunting backpack that I have or something like that, one of the off-the-shelf ones. It's got 500 pockets, and it's like, it doesn't actually are empty.
Yeah,
you know?
like most of them like don't even fit anything well. They're just like slots and everywhere for whatever. And
everything, and they flap open, and it's like, oh, well, and then there's a AR-15 magazine on the side.
Yeah,
thing, and it's like, I don't need this, you know. So it's like I started making some backpacks, and I was like, okay, 2 side pockets, 1 small zip pocket on the top, and then a big hole in the middle. You know, like that's the way I like things, and like then I'll keep like things that are similar in like smaller bags on the inside because it's like, okay, I'm looking for this
specific
set of
use.
things.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm looking for my cook stuff for my, you know, my field dressing kit, which is all in one bag. You know, I don't need it in 5 different pockets. So that's kind of the way I started building this stuff. And then I just started getting into a little bit of clothes and stuff like that.
The most impressive thing I think is you built your own saddle.
Yeah. You know what? I brought,
Did you bring it?
I brought Julian's.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because you made one for Julian too, for like a youth saddle.
You know what? You're going to have to cut this out because I left it in the car, but I'm going to go grab it.
Go grab it. That's perfect. A huge thank you to one of our advertisers, Buckskin Bowman. They're located in Saukville. They have a great club with archers of all skill levels. They have a standard archery range along with a walkthrough 3D course. They have 3D leagues, beginner leagues, and host a variety of shoots throughout the year. They have one more shoot scheduled for this year on September 20th. Make sure to head over to wiarchery.com and check out all the events and shoots from Buckskin Bowman. All right, we're back.
We're back.
Perfect.
All right, here's Julian's saddle. Very small, but the problem is that there just isn't kid saddles out there. At least when I checked, could not find kid saddles. So I built one that just fit him. You know.
Did you make this pocket too and everything?
Yeah, I made the
holy. This looks like really, really nice.
Thanks.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, this was like a
What's the J sticks?
Present.
Is that something you made, like a...
Yeah, I just printed it.
That's cool.
And then I made climbing sticks for him and put the same little logo on it. And like I gave him the climbing sticks and the saddle for a birthday present.
Dude, this is sweet.
Yeah, and he has a lot of fun with this. Saddle hunting for me was like a natural thing to do because I spent a lot of time rock climbing back when I was younger and up even until a couple of years ago. So it was like, I know the gear, I trust the gear. Like a lot of people jump in a saddle and they're like, this is terrifying.
Yeah. I need your help with that, because like that's how I am right now. Like I have a saddle, I use it occasionally, but not a lot, and it just I might need some help with some of that stuff.
No, I run up trees in like 3 minutes now. It's like
Perfect.
It's very straightforward to me. There is some like things that you need to kind of figure out, but like probably I go hunting after work a lot, and I'll have 2 hours, and it's like, man, got to get up there, get up the tree, and sometimes I ground hunt and stuff like that, or bring a blind with Julian if we're going to spend a longer day. But like I'll pick him up from school, we'll run out there and get up a tree, and that's kind of like what we like to do. So that's started making stuff like this. This shirt is something I made for hunting this year. I like long sleeve shirts, like for hunting.
Yep. It's like almost like a lightweight hoodie kind of thing.
Yeah,
yep.
It's just like a cotton, like lightweight cotton. I use a lot of material that's like military surplus material. So like this is like a multicam. Operational camouflage pattern is the one I use a lot too. So like most of the stuff on that right there is what's called operational camouflage pattern. It's kind of a multicam rip off from the military. The good thing about all of them is that they're IR and UV compliant.
Okay.
So, if you've spent some time around camo or like looked at camo, that's a big thing that like, the high end camouflage brands like Sitka or First Light advertise, that they're IR and
UV resistant,
UV compliant. What that means is they don't reflect infrared and UV spectrum light. I don't know how much of a deal it is for deer, but like turkeys can see into the ultraviolet.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert in this, but I've heard that, or maybe I read somewhere that turkeys are ultraviolet sensitive. So like they see colors differently than we do, and like it's more vibrant to them. So
yeah, and like a lot of birds actually are this way. A lot of birds that we see as black, like a European starling, like big invasive species around here, we see them as black. You look at those with like in the same spectrum they see each other, they look like the most beautiful, colorful bird you'll ever see. Like they're purple and green, and like they don't see the same way we do. And so like the easy way that some people have demonstrated this is they'll take like a UV flashlight and shine it over a Walmart camo, and it'll be like purple.
They're like glow, yeah.
Yeah. Some of our, like my older camo, like if you walk by a trail cam at night, it doesn't look camouflaged at all. It looks white. It literally does not like have a camo pattern anymore because it all reflects the trail cam flash the same way. So you can get some really, really nice fabrics, on eBay and stuff like that. There's just stuff that the military had, printed to use in some sort of application and then just never use the fabric. Yeah. Super cheap, super high quality. Military stuff for the U.S. anyway has all what's called a Berry amendment, Berry compliant, meaning that all the fabric and all the threads and everything have to be made inside the United States too. So like when you and I go buy clothes, we do not buy stuff that's made in the United States. It's
almost nothing is.
Like it's way too expensive. And if it is made in the United States, it's like a $300 pair of jeans, but it's kind of cool because you get like, stuff that's actually made here too. You know?
Absolutely. That's really cool. Is there anything that would make, it sounds like when you're deciding like if you're going to buy something or make it yourself, it's can I make it and can I make it better than most things you can.
And if it's like, I can't make it, I'll try, And every now and then I find something and I'm like, man, somebody really thought this out and it was really well made and I'm just going to go buy it, Yeah. I'm obviously not like making my own gloves or hats yet, but like who knows?
Yeah, right.
Some of the more complicated things. I did bring a couple other things. And this is stuff that you haven't seen before, but like this is just a muff that I made a couple weeks ago. It has the same like
I like the size.
Yes.
Because like I feel like the ones I get are always way too big.
Huge.
And like
yeah.
Simple buckle. Good, but it's not like it's a pretty quiet material.
Yeah, that's a cord 330D Cordura.
Yeah, I got a pocket in the back.
Front, actually.
Oh, in the front. Perfect.
Yeah. And then the front pocket, I actually, like a lot of the, when I build this stuff, I'll build the interior pockets with a really, really bright color.
Okay.
So like when you unzip that, it's almost like a blaze orange on the inside.
For those
because
watching.
then you can find your stuff. Like it's
that's smart. Yeah.
like when it's
most
dark,
of your stuff is black or
yeah,
brown or
you open up a
whatever.
pocket and it's black on the inside, and it's like, man, I can't find anything in
Yeah.
here. So there's, and like this is just something I designed and made myself. Like it didn't come from a pattern or anything.
This
like
looks
that.
like professional. Like this is something you'd be hanging
It
on the
is
shelf.
so warm. Like it is so warm
Yeah,
too. Stick
and
your
it's
hand
very
in there for
packable
5
too. Like
minutes.
it can get pretty small and compact.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
And like that's kind of was version 1 of it for me, and then
Yeah.
I made another one because I was like, man, I need to make one for me, one for my kid, So the second version I built, I did it with like a Gore-Tex material that I had found, exactly the same pattern. You wouldn't even recognize the difference.
And yeah, you made me some set of gaiters, which I'm really excited to try. Those were like perfect, like custom made.
Yeah.
Great fit. Like
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because it's fun to make your stuff for yourself, because it's like you might off the shelf stuff, no matter what it is meant to be sold to the masses. And when you start making stuff specifically for yourself, or even just find patterns,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, these gaiters come in 11 different sizes, and it's like you don't go buy gaiters, you buy them in small and large.
Yep.
And if you're lucky, they'll make a medium, but then
That's a lot of archery stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty universal. I mean, it's just the scale of economics. When you start making stuff for yourself, or like kind of tweaking it for yourself, you can usually make it fit your application or you just a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to talk about some public land stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We talked about it on the episode that'll never air.
Yeah.
Let's do the one. Let's talk about that. So there's Knowles and what's the name of the program?
Knowles Nelson
Knowles
Stewardship
Nelson.
Program.
Okay.
And it doesn't really exist right now.
Okay.
It essentially, the funding for it expired.
How long was it running for? A long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
A long time. Nelson Knowles is named after 2 governors. It's a Wisconsin program. What happens there is the DNR basically gives out loans to communities, kind of to themselves, but like
Through programs.
through programs.
And
yeah.
then basically, is it state funds or is it federal funds?
It is state funds.
Okay.
And it's not. It's used to purchase a lot of land for conservation, for public access, boat launches, trails, state
Like
trails.
leasing land too, like from that program that we have here, where you lease private land, or not really?
Not really.
Okay.
That's a different program.
Okay.
But the a lot of easements. So like in Wisconsin, public access can be either what's called fee title purchase, so like a straight purchase by the state or by some group, or it can be something where we get an easement. So basically, like the land is still held by the owner, but the easement might be a conservation easement. So it might example of a conservation easement would be, it remains undeveloped. You need to preserve the wetland. You can't drain it. Public access easement. Hey, you get to go walk through this cornfield and hunt on it. That's the kind of thing that the money was used for. Since the beginning of the program, they've bought over 750,000 acres in the state of Wisconsin.
Wow.
So 750,000 acres that are now public land that wouldn't really be public land before that.
Yeah, with direct funding from that program.
Yes,
Or support.
It's not just a total cash outlay. They actually buy it kind of like a mortgage. So the state's paying the interest on a loan. So they still work with outside funding sources, and it's kind of bought with a loan.
It's more of an assistance program to be able to get more access, basically.
Yeah, it makes your money go farther. It's like, if I can get the $200,000 land right now, but only pay, $10,000 the first year.
Yep.
Then I got more money to go around.
So basically, funding dried up from that because they weren't able to. Is it our representatives weren't able to come to an agreement on
Correct. Yeah.
getting the program back funded?
Right, and there's a lot of aspects to the reason that it didn't get renewed. There's kind of 2 camps with it. There's the camp that just wants the money reauthorized and they go back to doing business as they were. Then there's the other camp that's like kind of pushing for the program to kind of shrink a little bit, as well as some accountability language in there on how the money gets used.
If I can remember from last time, you were saying basically one party wanted to just get the funding back going. The other party basically wants to make sure there's effective use of the funds before they agree to get it back going.
Correct.
Okay.
Because like that, one of the problems with Knowles Nelson, and you might see it as a problem, might not, but the land isn't always purchased by the state. So conservation groups are the big one. Land trust funds and stuff like that. They're buying private land, willing buyer, willing seller, and often getting about half the funds from the Knowles Nelson program to purchase it. But the money, the land actually, not the money, the land actually stays in the hands of the conservation group. So
the Nature Conservancy
or whoever it is, some land trust or something like that. In turn, there's got to be public access. Like, that's part of the contract. And so, like, if we're going to give up state money to go buy some land, and the Nature Conservancy is a good example of that. They're the type of they're the biggest user of biggest land trust group in the state. They'll take that money from the DNR, usually about half the money it takes to fund something, and in turn they're obligated to allow 5 nature-based outdoor activities. This is in
all the
law,
contracts, yeah.
in the law, and it's part of the contract. Is like you have to allow hunting, fishing, trapping, hiking, and cross-country skiing. 5 activities guaranteed public access.
For everyone. No draws, no nothing. Just everybody has to have access.
That's not clear.
Okay. That may be a gray area.
That's a gray area. And
so maybe they have to allow it of some sort.
So the way it's written, and this is where, this is where I'm digging in a little bit with some legislative offices and stuff like that, is that the gray area is like, if, let's say you run a lottery and allow 6 people on the land for hunting every year. Well, is that really public access? It's hard to really figure that out. Is it actually public access? Is it not? We'll allow this, but we'll limit the species, or we'll...
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those that, like, you can, like turkey hunting's okay, but deer's not, and vice versa. And
right.
There's like a whole map, and they got it all color-coded for a whole bunch of different whatever stuff going on.
Right. And it's like, well, I mean, if I got to apply every year by August 15th, and then I don't hear until September 10th, like, part of hunting is the scouting. And it's like, I had 2 days to scout. Like, you actually restricted it pretty significantly, and then it goes till the end of the year, my access. So, well, what about turkey hunting in the spring? Like, essentially from January 1st all the way up until the next September, like, nobody's allowed to hunt. Yeah. So I have a little bit of a problem with that. The law is not super clear on that right now. The way that the original Knowles Nelson obligations were, I shouldn't even say that. In 2010, any funding that happened after 2010 has these obligations. Before that, if the blind was bought in 2002, 2007, 94, they don't actually have that obligation.
Okay.
So,
because I hunted one of these last year, and it was one of those things you had to apply really early. I remember it was apply at like May or something like that. I heard back pretty quick, and I was tag number 1. I'm like, wow, like crazy lucky odds or whatever. Started scouting it, whatever. I hunted a couple times. I didn't see anybody. Got there during the rut. There was like 7 trucks there, and they give you this little tag. It's like a piece of paper this big with like your number on it. You're supposed to have it on your dash to like identify you have a permit for that piece of land. And I looked at all the other vehicles there, and none of them had any of that. And I'm just like, I don't know if they're enforcing it or how that's going.
It's hard to say. I mean, like, that's something that I can't speak too much of, is how much use it gets and how many people apply to the lotteries and stuff like that. But like, one of the things the law says is that you cannot favor any user group over any other user group.
Okay.
So, like, can you imagine if we had put the same restrictions on like cross-country skiers?
Oh yeah.
You have to apply to cross-country ski. We're only going to allow, 1 person per 10 acres of land. You have to put something on your car. One of the land trusts I'm looking into, you have to sign a jury trial waiver to hunt the land, and it's or pay them $500. It's like, it's kind of wild.
It's like a Wild West of rules out there. Yeah,
and so there's not consistency to it. There are nature land trusts that have Knowles-Nelson obligations on their land that actually just outright ban activities, which interestingly, that the enforcement mechanism is written into the law. It says if they ban an activity without like going through the right steps, they're supposed to convey the land to the state. So literally give up the land that they own without compensation.
Yeah.
So that's the current language in there, but none of it's really being enforced. When I started looking into these things, it was because I started seeing some Knowles-Nelson funded land locally to us that was marked no hunting. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. So I contacted the DNR and I said, hey, I think this land is actually Knowles-Nelson, like falls under the obligations of the Knowles-Nelson program. Can you verify that it, was a post-2010 acquisition and that there's no restrictions on it? Because there is actually a process for restricting land. Like if you're going to restrict one of the 5 activities, like let's say for whatever reason hunting would not work at a certain area because
maybe it's for like city limits or whatever.
Well, municipal ordinances are different because municipal ordinance can still govern what happens in an area. But like let's say that like it's a land trust that brings school kids there every single day. You wouldn't want hunting there, and it doesn't really make sense. Right? You can't just start that though. There's a process for it. You have to go to our Natural Resources Board, which is a group of people, and they have to decide whether or not to restrict it. So I contacted the DNR and I said, hey, do these fall under the Knowles-Nelson obligations? And they are there any NRB restrictions on it? Like I want to go see if I can hunt this land. Well, contact the landowner. That was the answer that I got. And I was like, well, I don't think the landowner is following the rules. So like contacting the landowner doesn't really help me audit whether or not they're following the rules.
Right.
And kind of went back and forth with them a few times. DNR kind of just kept giving me that same line. So I reached out to one of the few senators' offices, and they've been unbelievably helpful. If you run into problems like this through any bureaucracy in the state of Wisconsin, contact your local representative, your local senator, like whoever represents you, and just say, hey, I'm having this problem with this state agency.
That's good. That's good to hear they've been helpful.
My gosh, so helpful.
In my mind, I would have felt like they would have been less helpful, but that's great to hear.
Like I've been working with them, have had meetings upon meetings of it, and part of it is they're very interested in the future of this program. Yeah.
And you've been having meetings and fighting for sports and basically try to open up more access for that we're already paying for everyone to use.
Right. We did pay for it. Yeah. Like this is a taxpayer funded program.
Yeah. Because I think access is one of the biggest problems we have right now in the outdoor space. Is getting more land, more opportunities for people to go out and have a good experience, not be overcrowded.
It kind of depends on the area too, because you look in this area, like in Ozaki, Washington County, where I kind of am. There's not a ton of public land, and we got the major metro areas surrounding us, so it's like, man, there's a lot of people.
We got a lot of people.
A lot of people, and not that much land, And then you go up north, some of the counties up north. There's areas where 70% of the land is now like either DNR owned, conservation owned, like
it's a lot of public. Like there's tons
of it. And like 70% of the land might not be eligible to be part of the property tax base. And so some of these like representatives from the northern counties are like, man, we are spending way too much money on this program because we don't have any tax base left. We can't fund our schools, So I understand that side of it too. Yeah. And there's probably a happy medium somewhere. But this is what I'm talking about is land that already falls under public access obligations. That obligation isn't always met. I've essentially through digging into this. Already had a few properties flip from being no access to now hunting access.
Nice.
So I've been successful in getting them to change some policies.
Is this like a case-by-case basis, or is this something you're going to try to initiate to get more agency people to look into this and start checking out?
So I'm the only one, as far as I know, doing the auditing.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that if we reauthorize the bill, a full audit, I think, is necessary Because right now, if you go on the DNR's website and look at their public access land viewer, not everything that's like falls under the obligation is even available to view there.
Yeah.
And then they also lump the pre-2010 and post-2010 like stuff
Yeah.
as the same thing in there. So it's like hard to even tell what you're looking at if it's encumbered by the program or not.
Yeah.
So can I actually access that or not? And then you go there and it's like there's no signs, or you hop on the website and it tells you something different, or maybe there's like conflicting information on the website and it's like, or there's a lottery. It's like, we just don't know,
Yeah.
you know?
That's one thing I think we could do a lot better on. I have no idea what it takes, but we need to do a lot better on is clearly labeling access, and or at least having it not a gray area. If you can access, can you not? You got to call people, figure something like
Right.
make it readily available, or at least a process to be able to figure it out.
And I've been jumping through hoops for months to take land that was purchased years ago under the Knowles Nelson program and be able to hunt there.
Yep.
And I've been jumping through hoop after hoop after hoop and waiting for sending my questions to the senator's office, who forward them to the DNR. One of the great things about senators and representatives is like when they ask a question of an agency in Wisconsin, they are obligated to respond.
Okay.
So, and they have to respond.
Yeah.
Like when I send them questions, they're like, yeah, it's just some guy, you know, like that's kind of the attitude I got with certain people at the DNR.
When you're messaging the DNR.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, well, go ask the landowner. They'll tell you. And I'm like, I'm trying to audit the landowner, you know, that's not very helpful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to ask somebody who's already, I feel like they're lying to me, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, so like working with the state has been really important to me.
Is there anything that anybody else can be doing right now? Like, can anybody be reaching out to their representatives, or is there maybe people should do their own audits? Is there anything like that you'd recommend at this point, or not yet?
If you got land near you and you know that like a land trust owns it or something like that, just hop on their website. Most of the land trusts are kind of organized by like counties or area, you know.
And it wouldn't be like a private trust. It wouldn't be like someone's last name trust. It'd be like some kind of nature conservancy, wildlife program, something like that.
And they would have had to take public funds and it would have had to be post 2010. You can find most of the data online on when these grants were given and things like that. But the public access obligation, it's perpetual. Like if that happens, even if the land changes hands, so it moves from like one of the ones that happens around here is MMSD, Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District, which you'd think would just be in Milwaukee, but they're really concerned about the entire watershed. So they've got Waukesha land, they've got Washington County land, they've got Ozaukee County land. They'll transfer that land to a land trust eventually. And the obligation to maintain public access continues. So if you find something like that or hop on a website, like there's a lot of public land people don't know about around here, because like most people just go on Onyx and does it Onyx say I can or can't I? It's not on Onyx.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not on Onyx that definitely could be hunted.
Right. And it's kind of like, man, how much interest do I have in maintaining this little secret? Because it's like there's a lot of stuff this year that like my son and I are looking at, and we're like, hey, we can go hunt this, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you want to dive into that second topic? You want to save that for a different episode?
You know, we can touch base on it.
Yeah.
But there's another. You know, we'll make a teaser. How
there
about
you
that?
go.
Then you have to have me back.
Perfect.
And you have to keep listening.
Yeah. And we'll have that other guy on if you wanted to. Do
yeah.
that too.
Right. So there's another program in Wisconsin that this one isn't funded by taxpayer money. This one's funded by license money.
Okay. Like a direct use for license for access.
The funds for this other program allow public access. They help farmers out with some problems that they have with animals. It obligates the farmer to allow public access on their farm field. It's only in areas where there is abundant wildlife enough to be causing damage.
Okay. Sounds like a target-rich environment.
Target-rich environment. And there's an obligation to allow hunters on that land. And this is virtually unknown. It's been around since 1983.
Oh, wow.
I started calling some of the people on the list, you know, the farmers that participate in this program, and I was like, hey, I kind of heard about this, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, your land's open to public access this fall. I just want them like kind of let you know
Let you know I'm coming.
I'm coming, and like, I want to know where your logbook is and where I should be able, where I can park. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, does nobody know about this?
Yeah, if the landowner doesn't even know about it, like what?
Yeah, and so then I called the guy who manages the program. His name's Chris. He's at the DNR, and I had a half-hour conversation with the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, this is not well known. Like, we're not on any of the mapping applications. Like, we're not even on the DNR's mapping application."
They should almost have like their own page with like an own portal of like this specific, or even just have that land on their DNR's own portal.
Well, they have a list of all the properties on the DNR, but it's not integrated into any of their other mapping software. So, like, it's not integrated into.
It's just a list.
It's just a list.
Yep.
List of properties, the county, and then you got to click on a PDF map.
Yep. And then you got to transfer that over to your Onyx to see where it actually is, and then.
But it looks like a huge thing for us. So
definitely stay tuned for bringing that back on.
We can talk more about that some other time. But there's stuff like that that's out there. A lot of land trusts have a lot of land. They may not even be KNSP encumbered. Door County, I started hitting up their land trust. They have a ton of land, a lot of really small properties, kind of in between farm fields, 20, 40 acres. They open up virtually everything they own because Door County has some of the worst deer problems in the state of Wisconsin when it comes to like population.
Just not a lot of hunters and
not a lot of hunters. No CWD up there yet.
Oh wow!
So it's one of the like few areas that like baiting is allowed on.
I knew there was a couple places over in the state.
Very few that allow baiting still because if you're CWD is in Wisconsin, the rules are is like if you get a positive test in a county, any surrounding county gets an automatic like
no
baiting ban.
Yeah.
Door County still allows baiting.
Wow.
So like there's like they haven't had the CWD up there yet. But right now you get 5 doe tags in that county. It's one of the few that you
they want some deer shot.
They want deer shot.
Yeah. Maybe we'll release this like next year and we'll go hunt that quick.
But yeah.
Well, we have the 49 listeners. So if you're listening, leave a comment. We appreciate you.
Yeah. But that like Door County looks like a great place, and then they're and when I hop onto their website on the Door County Land Trust and start looking at their properties, they don't even name their properties. You get like a parcel listing. So like the way to figure that out is you go like, okay, here's the parcel number, and then I got to go to the Wisconsin parcel map, and
like
the
find
state
that
cartography, and find the number, and you can look them up, and then you got to transfer that over to whatever mapping application you use. I'm using Onyx, and like find the property, and then you can start kind of doing some e-scouting and going, hey, this is kind of awesome. There's a lot of places up here that I can go and hunt publicly, that I'm pretty sure aren't going to be like your typical, DNR owns this, and you walk out there on a weekend and there's 20 trucks. It's kind of a like cool little thing that I've been digging into because there's a lot of land out there that people just don't know about that is publicly accessible.
Yeah, that is a exact perfect example of why I made the archery map on the Wisconsin Archery website. So the DNR pays for or funds whatever manages, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 public archery places, in some of them are community, some are DNR based, whatever. And if you go on their website, they have a little map of like 13 of the locations throughout the state, and they pay for way more than that. I'm like, we're already paying for that. Let's get the word out and get people using them. Right. So I started making the archery map.
I didn't even know the DNR funded any archery ranges.
I think they do because there's DNR ranges. that are like gun ranges or whatever. And
I know about the gun ranges.
They'll have archery there.
Really?
Yeah, they'll have like an archery thing.
I guess I've seen that. Yeah, like I've gone up to Shawano and stuff, and I've seen archery at their range.
Yeah, and there's like also community parks that have a bunch of them. I don't know if that's probably not DNR directly funded, but they're open to the public, whatever. That we're already paying for, and it's like, let's get the word out about them. Let's go use them. And there's now, if you haven't seen it yet, go on wiarchery.com, go to the archery map. There's like 320 locations on there now with all the shops. If you want to buy some gear. There's going to be an archery range, a range tab you can filter by to show you every place you can shoot your bow, all the clubs in the state. Like there's places all over I've never even heard of that all throughout the state that are great to go shoot at.
Yeah, that's a really cool map, by the way. I've jumped on there quite a few times.
Cool.
And it's kind of
I'm missing a couple, so make sure you said
man.
you knew one. Like make sure like, if
the
you,
one
if
I
you,
shoot at in Grafton is not on there.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would say if you know of a range that's not on the archery map or a place I should put on there, send me an email. Just email@wirarchery.com or just go to the contact us page on the website.
And there's something I want to say about this like public access and even like the ranges and stuff like that is like, you know, there's a temptation even for me to like keep it a secret, you know, because like, you know, finding out about some of these programs that nobody uses in this land that nobody hunts, like, and it's publicly accessible and stuff like that. It's like, boy, this could be a great little honey hole for me, you know, and my son. And it'll probably be that way for a couple of years until people catch on and stuff like that. But like, we're talking about the future of like what we love.
It's more than just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it is, you know,
I'm very interested in how do I make what can I do to make an impact to help other people have a better, more enjoyable experience and want to continue on the tradition.
I think that's so cool that, I mean, you don't have kids yet and stuff like that, but like for me, like, you know, I'm probably way more selfish than you because like had I found this stuff 10 years ago before I had my son, like I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't
be sharing it.
I wouldn't be sharing it. But
Yeah.
like now it's like, man, like my kid and like the future of what he loves to do the only way we're going to continue to be able to hunt and stuff like that is like if the people who are hunting now continue to do so, which there's less and less every year, and we bring new people into the sport, you know. And I'm just talking about like hunting and outdoor stuff in general.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like you go out deer hunting during, you know, gun season in Ozaki County. Like Julian and I have basically like the way we approach it is like we got 7 spots. We're just gonna start driving around at 4 a.m. and see how many cars are there.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll go somewhere and then like. This happened to us multiple times this last year because like even during the youth hunt, it was like we set up a ground blind, sun comes up, and there's a guy walking in with his kid and they're setting up 20 yards away.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man, you know, like, and that feels kind of crappy when it happens, but like the more land that is accessible, the more we're going to spread out, you know, and so it's more than just us. And like, if you really want to get away from people, you got to just do the work and do some traveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know that's tough when you got like younger kids and stuff like that. It is really hard to get Julian up at 4 a.m. and make him walk a mile into the woods.
Yeah.
That is, he is not a morning person, and he's got like this natural defense mechanism. If I wake him up before the sun comes up, he just throws up. It's hilarious. We'll be driving to go hunt, and he'll be throwing up. And it's just like, come on, man. He's like, I'm sick. I'm like, no, you'll be fine. This happens every time. So, but that's really what it's about in the long run, is making sure that like we have the tools we need for this to continue, because there's just.
One of the things that fascinates me is, so I started working in the archery industry technically in 2012. And then back then, I think there was a lot of guys that it would be traditional to go hunt up north. Like a lot of guys would, you know, hunt around here a little bit, but they'd also do their gun seasons and their hunting lands all up north. Like that's where most people are primarily hunting. They do their deer camps, all that kind of stuff. And over the last, what has it been, 14 years since then, I hear of less and less of that. I know almost nobody nowadays, that very few that travel to the northern half of the state to hunt. Everything's always in that, you know, central, western, southern part of the state, just from deer population wise and the quality of herd. And I've heard different guys with different theories on why that is and why that isn't, but whatever it takes to get the population back up to where it's a acceptable level would be awesome to have. I think it'll help spread out people, more opportunity, get, you know, better quality hunting for everybody too.
Yeah. And I'm one of those people who does hunt up north, you know, and it's I mean, you can go a week and not see a deer, you know, whereas down here where Julian and I hunt, we're guaranteed a dozen deer every night we sit on public land. Yeah. Like, that's what we see. And like, not a lot of them within bow range, but like we harvest a lot of deer down here and we see them, and like that's like, we can go see deer down here. Up there, it is a grind to find a deer. Yeah. Even just like going up during the summer and stuff and walking through the woods, it's like I don't even see deer sign most of the time I go up there nowadays. And
do you have any thoughts on that? I've heard of different theories. I can list those off.
We're in a pretty heavy area for wolves where we're at.
Yeah. That has to play some sort of a factor in it.
I think it does. I mean, the herd is definitely down up there. You can tell by the limited doe tags and stuff like that. There were some bad winters. The last few have been pretty good. Not really seeing year to year that like the amount of doe tags, especially in our DMU, haven't increased or anything like that. So I
Didn't they give too many doe tags out or no?
No.
Okay, they were good amount.
No.
Okay.
There's just there's hardly any. I think it's like 300 or something.
Oh, so it's like minimal.
It's a kick in the bucket. I don't think it's going to have a population level.
I've also heard one guy was talking about, I don't know if I agree or not, but bears. He said there's too many bears in a lot of parts of the state that could limit the deer. And I don't know how many fawns would be killed by a bear, but it's a factor.
It could be. Yeah, I know coyotes will go after fawns too, but like, and there are areas of the state where they're looking to, decrease the bear.
I know. Like, I've been saving bear points for a while for Wisconsin. I'm just gonna wait till whatever the best unit is and get that. Because if I get the itch to go bear hunting, a lot of guys tell me to just go to Canada.
The D zone.
There's a D zone. One of them's like 12 points, right?
That's A.
Yeah, A. Okay.
And that's where where we typically go up north.
Mm-hmm.
But zone D.
Where is that? Like, is that like
east
upper third?
It's like east of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, okay. So western Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Western, northern Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah.
But not like along the lake, like lower than that.
Yep.
And it's not a huge area. I started looking into this the other day because I realized I have enough points for that.
Oh, cool. I probably do too. I got like 8 points.
3.
Like that. Oh, perfect.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed a bear tag with 3. You're likely to get one with 2.
Okay.
Julian has 2 points. I got 3 right now. And I'm like, because I never really thought I'd want to hunt bear. And then a few years ago, I'm like, I'll just start putting in points, and see what happens. And started watching some bear hunting videos, like especially like bear bow hunts. And I'm like, oh, this looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
what's your philosophy with that kind of stuff? Like, so for me, I want to hunt everything at least once. Like, are you the same way, or you kind of want to just hunt a couple things here or there and whatever interests you?
I just want to like have experiences.
Okay, cool.
Like, and it's like it's super cool to see these big bucks on camera and stuff like that walking by. But like, I freak out when I got a doe nearby too, like my heart stops, so like, it doesn't really matter for me. And it's way cooler to do it with my kid,
Oh yeah.
It's the same reason I had like hunting squirrel and grouse and everything else. Like, it's just like about being outside and experiencing it. And that's the cool thing about going up north and hunting. And like, we kind of got into this conversation because we were talking about the way that hunting has changed. And down here, it's like, I see a lot of deer and stuff like that. But up north, it's like, it's just a different way of deer hunting. It's like, man, this is going to be tougher. And, you got to set up camp in the middle. We went on national forest land. It was Julian's first like real deer hunt was when he was 7. And I took him, he wasn't shooting, but he came with me. We set up a double person ladder stand in the middle of the night on public land. Like, I think Thanksgiving Day was when I drove. No, the day before Thanksgiving I drove up. It was during COVID. So like, it was like, oh, everyone's got COVID, no family dinner. I'm like, grab your stuff. We're leaving now, So like, I put a ladder stand in the back of my truck, drove up north, and we stuck that up in the woods. I brought the ice house, the hub one.
Okay.
Propane heater, a couple cots, and we spent 4 days
nice
in national forest land. It snowed. Like, it was awesome.
Cool experience.
It was like a true deer camp. Just me and Julian, we never left camp. We never went into town. We just hunted all day and, cooked at night.
That's
and,
cool.
Like, just did that. And
yeah.
That is a memory that is so much different than like the way Julian got his crossbow deer last year, which was like after school, run to the field, pop up a hub blind, and then hunt for 2 hours. Like, we earned that deer because it came after 4 days of sitting in the woods. And it was a nice little six pointer, little tiny thing, but it was it was probably 2-year-old, but it's full of acorns. There's not a cornfield within 20 miles, so it's like, it's a different type of hunting, the way people hunt nowadays, I mean, there's more, and the DNR even says so, there's more people hunting bucks, there's less people hunting meat, and that's,
that might change with beef prices rising. So.
Who knows? And that's but the way people hunt nowadays, it's like they're after the big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the big bucks? You know, they're down here. You know, and it's just a different type of hunting. You're not going to have deer camp, you know, in Ozaki County.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. You're going to go deer hunting after work a bunch of times. And there's a significant commitment to taking off of work for 3-4 days or a week and going up there and setting up camp and doing all that stuff.
I think it's also like society changing and our legislation has also changed. I think those two factors can have completely shifted our whole deer camp culture has kind of gone away. And it's cool to see some of it come back, but I wish we could make a good push at that.
Yeah. And like you look at the way the land's being sold up there and stuff like that, it's a lot of like lake life, retired people. Like at this point, young families aren't really on the lakes anymore up north as much, or if they are, they're going to their parents' place. I mean, there's been a shift in like
Culture.
And the money, you know. You can't, I mean, when my parents are always kind of kicked themselves because they looked at a cottage on Anvil Lake up there, and they decided it was too expensive. And this was like in the late 80s. It was $14,000.
Yeah.
It's worth $1 million now.
Holy
just
smokes.
the property.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so they and they bought on a lake in the early 90s. You know, I think it was less than $50,000, and I wouldn't be surprised if it sells for $500,000 now.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of
the price. It's just pricing everybody out of the market,
Yeah.
especially for younger families and younger people that wanted to
and
buy stuff.
And you don't buy it. You know, you can't. Most people don't have like, oh, I got a $500,000 for deer camp. You know, that's not a thing.
Yeah, because typically it would just be family stuff. Like it'd be a family that had it. They'd invite their friends and family to do the deer camp, and that's about it. I mean, nowadays you could do an actual camp. I've seen some guys video of that. That's pretty cool.
That's what we did.
They go and actually camp. They'll get a campsite up north, and they'll hunt on, and they'll stay at the camp and tent it.
Yeah, and don't even. I mean, I would say don't even get a campsite. Just national forest up there. In some county forests allow you to camp anywhere.
Oh,
you just pull off the road and camp.
That's awesome.
So like you go hit up a logging trail, get off the logging trail just far enough, and you can just camp literally anywhere in national forest land.
That's awesome.
When all the campgrounds and stuff are shut down during COVID, Julian and I didn't stop camping, and like we go every weekend, and that's what we do. We go down some national forest trail and just find a spot to camp. What's really interesting though is that I heard one gunshot in 4 days.
Wow.
During the regular gun season.
Wow.
In Wisconsin.
Up there. That's crazy.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like a war zone down here.
I know.
Yeah.
We never saw a person, you know, and like that was I've hit up some of the spots I archery hunt during the doe season and stuff like that. And if the weather's nice, you start walking into the woods and there's like just like guys standing on the side of the trail, and it's like there's people everywhere, you know. I don't know where the deer go during that. Probably all the private land, but there's no way there's a deer here, you know. Yeah. But up there's a lot of land, there's a lot of places to go. It's way harder, but like if you just want the experience, if you're not looking to kill a deer, you know, you're trying to kill a deer, but like if you just want the experience, that's the place to be.
Yeah. You want to do some what are they called? Controversial questions?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Last time you asked me about wolves, arrow weights, and broadheads.
Okay.
So
perfect. These are a little more. I don't want to say simple, but these are pretty. And I can elaborate on my opinion too. But all right, ready? Heavy versus light arrow. What's better?
For me,
for everybody.
For everybody?
Yeah. Is there one?
There is no answer.
Okay.
There. Like for me, I want a lighter arrow because I want to be able to control. I want maximum range forgiveness, and I want my arrow to get to the deer before it has a chance to hear it, to hear anything.
Less of a chance, just because it's getting there much faster.
I brought a couple of arrows today. This was the arrow I originally set up on my bow, and it's great. I love this arrow.
It's a Victory HLR.
Yeah. Yep. And these were 365 grains or something like that. So they're still very much on the light side.
And for context, we're your 27 inch draw length.
26 and a half.
26 and a half.
Yeah.
On a Mathews, that's basically 27. So.
Okay. Whatever.
Well, yeah, 26 and a half right there.
Yeah. So light, it's still a pretty light arrow. And then I went to this, which is a
Rip XV.
Rip XV, and I moved down a spine. I went down to 400 spine versus a 350 spine. And then I cut the arrows even shorter. The funny thing is this is actually a very stiff arrow when they're this short.
When they're cut short, yeah.
Yeah, when they're really
and the arrow
short.
gets a lot stiffer when you start cutting it down.
Yeah, and I'm running this thing right pretty much up to the rest. My rest is maybe half inch, quarter inch away from the collar here. And I gain 4 extra feet before the sound wave even makes it there.
Okay, yeah.
So that to me matters, you know? And so I'm looking at that because those are variables I can control. Deer are going to move. They're going to duck. They're both equally as accurate. Mm-hmm. I know a heavy arrow penetrates better through a shoulder or a bone or whatever, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hit what I spend a ton of time shooting and a ton of time getting accurate with my bow. I want to control those variables and I'm not as worried about the things outside of that.
Yeah.
Now, in order to kind of compensate on the other side of that, I'm going to run probably a smaller broadhead. I'm not going to run a mega meat or a whitetail.
Yeah, big mechanical or anything. Yeah,
because I have no momentum at this point.
I don't even use any big stuff. Yeah, I just use small stuff with short draw.
Yeah, so but if I was going the other way on it, if I was hunting extremely tight quarters, I have a 15-yard shot max, and it's heavy brush, and I'm a 3-acre property that I'm hunting between 2 lots, and I don't have permissions from the farmers. Yeah, I might run a super heavy arrow with the biggest broadhead that I can get, just to make sure that the deer doesn't leave the property. But for me, that's what I'm shooting this year.
Perfect. All right, how much does FOC matter on a hunting setup?
Again, I think it depends. For me, so when I'm running a light arrow, I'm also giving up momentum. There's a lot of opinions on it, and then there's actually some data. FOC seems to matter a bit for accuracy with broadheads specifically. By having more FOC, your broadhead has less ability to steer from the front. So if you're going to run a big broadhead or something like that, or something that's not very straight, doesn't do well aerodynamically, it seems that more FOC helps with accuracy with a broadhead. Mm-hmm. Not really a difference with field points. The other thing is if you have an arrow that has very little FOC, so let's say you're 7% FOC or something like that, you're not really... The mass is equally distributed along the entire length of the arrow, so when it hits, it has a better chance of kind of torque steering through the deer.
Yep.
Whereas if you have your mass up front, there's less mass in the back to steer.
Yeah, in theory you get less deflection.
Deflection through the deer. So because I'm running because I'm running a light arrow with very what's a pretty weak spine. I mean, it's a 400 spine.
Yeah.
That probably sounds too light to most people.
Yeah. When you come down to at 25 inches, they're going to be a lot stiffer than they would be longer.
But it is a very light spine. Even by the charts, this is kind of mediocre, you know? But then I'm at 20% FOC. So it's my front is very heavy and the back is not torque steering its way through the deer.
Yeah.
You know?
One of the things I see a lot at the shop is guys will do a lot of extra weight up front, which is great. I think they don't take into factor. There is definitely too much weight up front. And also arrow length, which is huge, and also spines. You got to just think about those situations for your setup.
Right. I'm running as light as I can in the front, and then also running a light shaft. So, but if I was just adding weight in the front, screwing in weights or using a big heavy insert or something like that, then I would need to up my spine because then the arrow would be noodling its way out of the bow. And I shoot at longer distance a lot, and so I can tell whether or not some of those things, the bad things, are happening because I'm not getting the noodle coming out of the bow even with what I'm running because the bow's also well tuned. That seems to matter a lot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tuning definitely is very important. All right, next one. Ready? What do you hear a lot in the archery industry that you think is false, or what would you change?
What I change about the archery industry?
No, what's a a belief that everybody has in the industry that you think is wrong?
That you need to have a certain thing to be able to kill deer.
Yeah.
Like it is just like, oh, that like this is the broadhead you have to be using, and like if you don't use this, you're wrong, or this or that. It's like
A lot of things will kill a deer.
we were killing like deer with sticks
Yeah.
until recently.
Yeah.
You know, most of human history,
Yeah.
like that we had bows. They were sticks with sinew on them,
Yeah.
right?
That's what we're talking about in the episode that will never air. Is the broadhead choice? I think is overrated. Like I think
It's
you should
so
you should
overrated.
choose a good broadhead. You should be confident with it. I think one, you need to practice with it, which very few people do. You should shoot.
Yeah.
You should shoot your setup as you would hunt to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Second thing is you want a broadhead that's sharp. Having sharp blades is very important.
I think sharp blades is extremely important.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think those are two underrated things. And other than that, like a good quality broadhead made out of good material with a good design.
If the blades don't fall off and it's sharp, I think that's most
Yeah.
of the equation there.
I recommend just go with a reputable brand broadhead
Yeah.
that's suitable for your situation, and you'll be good. Shoot him and hit him in the right spot.
Yeah, and like you might screw a broadhead onto your and it might just fly like crap. I mean, there's certain broadheads that are kind of known for that, and there's certain ones that are kind of known to fly well, but it's going to be specific to your setup too.
Yeah.
So that I think it's just really important to figure out what works for you and experiment and play around with things like I do. And
Yeah.
I mean that to me, that's like how you're going to get something good. But again, most whitetail, what's the typical range people are shooting whitetail around here?
Well, I heard a stat from somebody else I never looked up, but I was told it was 90% of deer in Wisconsin are killed with a bow and arrow 18 yards and less.
Yeah, and
That was years ago before the crossbow stuff, but that may still be true, honestly, with the hunting style of
at
Wisconsin.
that range, I don't think your broadhead matters. Like even accuracy, like you say,
It's less of a factor than it would be.
if you're planning on shooting a deer at 20 yards, I don't think you might. I don't even know if you'd need to broadhead tune at that point.
I think
know?
you should check them, but yeah, check them and like you're good to go. Like,
But like 90% of people are going to be close enough, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if like a really bad flying broadhead at 20 yards might be 2 or 3 inches
Yeah.
off, you know. If you're planning on taking a 30, 40, 50 yard shot, then, or you know, even have that a possibility, then then you might have to spend some more time trying to get it right.
perfect. Well, anything else for me? You want to wrap her up?
This was super fun again.
This was
is
great.
a long episode.
Oh yeah, we're at almost 2 hours.
That's
this
crazy.
Is awesome.
You'll
So-
have to have me back sometime.
Awesome. If you want to support what's going on with United Archery and Wisconsin Archery, check out the website. You got warchery.com. Got merch on there. We got t-shirts. We got hats. Check it out. Also want to encourage you guys to share this podcast with somebody. If you want to leave a comment on someone we should have on here, or any comment is appreciated, and make sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Wyatt.
No problem. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
That was fun.